Hiromi, live started now. YouTube live started.
Okay. So, we'll get started in just a moment. Once a few more people have joined it, please hang tight.
Hey, hi, good morning, good evening, based on the
Hey, good
time you are in.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
hi.
Hello.
Just a moment, please. Oh. So we'll get started in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
Sure.
YouTube live started.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And welcome to the AWS Global Community Gathering. I know we've got folks joining from all different time zones. Thank you so much for beginning here. And so we'll get started in just a moment. Once a few more people have joined, please hand up. Or what can I go ahead and start?
Okay.
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 Okay. So, okay. So this event is available via Zoom and YouTube, and it's open to anyone around the world who's interested in AWS. That's why we are using UTC for the time schedule. Uh, I'm currently joining from Japan. It's evening here. Where is everyone else joining from? So let us know in the comments where you are joining from. You can also share it on X if you'd like. Where are you from?
Me, Japan. Mhm.
Canada. Nice. Germany, yes. Yes, Philippines. Oh, Philippines. I'm going to Manila, June.
Oh, nice.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Let's get started with the opening talk. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and a huge thank you to all of our speakers. We really appreciate you. Today we have a wonderful lineup of speakers who will be sharing their unique stories and perspectives from AWS technologies to career journeys and personal philosophies related to AWS. I'm excited to hear the different experience everyone brings. I hope that even one small part of today's session becomes a hint or inspiration for someone here. Also, this global connection we are building is real special. If you'd like, feel free to share your social media handles in the Zoom chat and connect it with others. This community is run by Yuki and myself. Hello, Yuki. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you.
Okay, so if you were interested in helping out with the organizing side, please let me know. I'd love to grow this together with you. And here's today's schedule. We are so lucky to have 6 amazing speakers today from Germany and from the Philippines, Catalina, and from Canada, Greece, and Vijaya, and from Panama, Sheila, and from Nigeria, Ianua. Sorry if mispronunciation any names. Sorry. I'm really happy to welcome you all from around the world to this community. Let's give them a big round applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I totally appreciate it if it from the bottom of my heart. This event will last about 2 hours, so please stay with us as long as you can. Now, let me briefly introduce these meetup groups. Sorry. Sorry. And excuse me. And sorry.
But
Sorry.
okay,
Okay.
no
Mark,
problem, no problems.
and to all of our participants, just a quick remember this is an online event and you can join us through Zoom and or YouTube. Feel free to drop your question or thoughts in the chat anytime. And if you are able to, we love for you to turn over your mic and say something others and too. One more time, let's value these connections and keep building our global community. Yep. So I started this community with a global of creating a truly diverse and inclusive world through learning sessions by connecting with people from all over the world through AWS and technology. I hope that something shared here can become a small inspiration or hint for your life. I especially welcome first-time speakers or those who don't often get a chance to share their stories. I'd be so happy if you could make use of this community and feel at home here. And yes, if you're interested, please join us. We also have Discord channel. So, we host events every month. We'll keep doing our best to make this community even better. So I'd love for you to keep joining us. We are always working to improve, and we are also looking for future speakers. And if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to me. Right now, we are looking for speaker for August, September, and October. We'd love to hear your story. Hope you join us as a speaker. And lastly, thank you again, and we hope you stay with us on this journey. Thank you so much. So, all right. Let's get started with main session. Do, do, do. Okay. Is this the right order for the speakers? Okay. So first, Ender, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready, Hiromi.
Okay. Stop my screen. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Oh, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity, even though we came about it through different circumstances, but I believe I was designed to be here today at this time. And Hiromi, you're doing such a beautiful work. I see you behind the screens. What you do for the community is really inspiring and motivating. So as you all see, my name is Inda Bungo Awa. I'm based in Germany. I've been an AWS community builder since March of 2022. And I can tell you all that that has transformed my life in all aspects of the world. Now, before then, one could say I was living under a rock. Yeah, in the sense that I just knew what I knew, and I didn't know the extent of what a community can do. As you all know, you see, I'm African, and in Africa, there is this word called Ubuntu. It is like this, and it means that I am because you are. And in all sense of the word, I am because AWS community is. So now the title of this is the global community. And in all its sense, it says that we are globally one. And it could not be more true because we break barriers, diversity, cultural barriers, language barriers, technology barrier, and the human aspect. So this is just a space for everyone to come. I would say healing, because when you come here, you find who you are. You find your people. You always see the people that say, oh my God, you are my sister. We think the same, or we have the same level of craziness. And I mean craziness, like I have friends that when I'm with them, we're just like hyping. You have like Julia, you have Susanna, which was supposed to be here as well. Those are people that I met through the AWS community. So in my own sense, how can I foster this community with the help of AWS? AWS does a lot for the community to grow at all levels. It meets you at each level. If you knew nothing about tech, AWS community is where you begin, and they have resources meant for that. They don't really have the resources, but they give you the chance that if you don't find your community, create one for yourself. And when you create one for yourself, you still find the people that will be attracted to your community. And before you know it, all the communities become global, as in sense of this, of what is called here the global community. So I have been thinking of ways to serve the community or to give back to the community. Because when I came here, I knew nothing about what tech was. I'm coming from a business economic background. So when I entered, when AWS launched the vouchers in 2021, 22 for Africa, I was like, oh my God, what's this? Let me go and see what's all about. The 6,000 vouchers did a lot for the community in sub-Saharan Africa. So that gave me like a push that, okay, if they did this, what can you also do for the community? And I saw that I can help through giving back in the sense of mentorship. Because mentorship is not just about you giving advice to someone or giving the person direction. It is like a two-way street. It's like finding people you trust, like finding people that you can share your vision with in a very secure environment. I've been a mentor and I've been a mentee. I've been a coach. I've been everything in this community. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I want to really encourage this because mentoring can be done directly and indirectly. And each person I meet in this community has been a mentor to me in one way or the other. You can just say a word of what you say will shift my belief system or will encourage me to like follow my hidden agenda. Because some of us here, when we come here, we see the seniors, we see everyone doing great things, and there is a fear that I don't fit. But trust me, when you get into this community, this fear goes away. It disappears because from my experience, the greatest fear was the language barrier. And I can see here that no, that should not be a fear. That should be like a power tool. You use the power tool to push your vision ahead. So I'm really grateful. I'm really blessed for this opportunity to grow, to nurture my talents or to nurture my skills and to like look up to other people or to other community builders and heroes that are always, always ready to give a listening ear to anyone that wants to do anything. See, the answer is always yes. I don't think I've ever heard a no from anyone in the AWS community. There's always a yes, and they give you like more resources and more resources. So I'm really encouraging everyone to be part of this movement, to be part of this global, it is not limited, global. Hiromi did not say Japan community. She didn't say the Asian community. She said the global community. So it is something for all of us to come. If you don't know what to do, just send a message to her. I believe she's always like, she has already said it. She has some offered, then we need speakers, and mostly for those that if you haven't spoken before, if you have the fright of speaking, I bet you before the end of this year, you will be an expert in your own way and in your own methodology of speaking. There's also the AWS New Voices, and this is the power tool that they brought, because they saw that whatever is hindering you, AWS gets the resources for that to empower you. And that is like mentorship of the highest order, in my opinion, if you ask me. A mentor is someone who sees your strength. If you share your vision with the person, they see your strength, and they like try to get obstacles away, out of the way, with your help and with your acceptance. You have to give the permission. So the AWS New Voices was an incredible program that really brought people out of their shells, and in that develop a mentor-mentee relationship that can last a lifetime. You define how long you want to belong in the community, and you define how long you want to be part of this relationship with your mentor. And you can also be a mentor. It's like it's a give and take. So in so saying, I can talk about the AWS program, the AWS community, not only being an AWS community builder, but just being part of the ecosystem is life transforming. So it is a space where everyone, no matter what you study, if you're under a rock and you come out of your rock, AWS has a space for you. So it's an honor, and I'm looking forward to many other beautiful engagements and events. I will just merely send my own speaking request to you, Hiromi, on the site. So yeah, for you to know that we acknowledge that, and I'm ready to be part of the community, or to be more engaged and part of the community, to be more engaged in the community. Yeah, in so doing, I love everyone here. I'm glad that I'm part of this community. I wish that we should keep breaking barriers and having opportunities for people all around the world. Because as a global community, we see there's these countries where the AWS mind, or the AWS notion has to reach. Yeah. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to more amazing things that we shall do together, and also to look for new ways to serve the community and make this a very beautiful experience for everyone involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you for your powerful story. And I'm especially grateful because you agreed to speak on short notice. Thank you. I also run the AWS community group with a strong focus on DE and I. And hearing your story, I can really feel how much effort you've put in since 2020. I'm sure it wasn't easy, and I totally admire your work. I honestly believe that through AWS and technology, we can help make the world a more peaceful place. And because I believe technology can bring people together. So, AWS mentorship programs are totally amazing, very amazing, and I'm starting to help out where I can too. I really encourage everyone to take advantage of those opportunities. And now, so does anyone have a comment or a question for Ender? Nothing?
Hiromi, no questions.
No questions.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
If not,
I have to mic mute.
okay. If not, let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And the next, Katrina. Katrina already?
Yes, ready.
Thank you. Do you have your
Yep,
screen?
I'll
Okay.
share my screen.
Okay.
Are you able to see it?
Yes, good. Perfect.
Okay. So I guess I'll start. Before I start, I'll give a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Karina, and you can also call me Kay Alvarado. So I'm a senior DevOps engineer at ING. I'm also 6 times AWS certified. I'm an AWS community builder and currently leads the Kitsu community here in the Philippines. And on my free time, I'm also writing comics, and I named it Girl Who Codes. So that's me. So the topic that I'll be talking about today is about community buildings, slightly similar to what Enda talked about, but it's more of about my learning experience. So I'll be talking about how AWS has impacted my career, how the community helped me, and how I intend to pay forward all the things that AWS has given me. So, just a brief background of my community journey. Before 2019, I was a software engineer for years. So I was developing things, but mostly on premise, not on the cloud. And mid of 2019, I transitioned to a DevOps career where I had zero cloud experience. So you can just imagine the the hardship that I went through because being a senior at that time, and then I can't understand what my colleagues were talking about when they talk about the cloud. So because I had zero cloud experience, so that's when the community has helped me a lot because in 2020, I started to seek out how I can learn AWS in a quick way so that I can catch up with what I'm doing in my work. And I came about this AWS user group Philippines led by Rafael Kisumbing, and also an AWS community hero here in the Philippines. And he was hosting free certification review sessions for free. And there's nothing, you don't have to pay anything. And the only request from you is to, if you pass a certification after taking that mentorship program, you have to pay it forward. So you have to volunteer for the next session. So it's a monthly review session, and it's helping a lot because people are taking classes. One mentor will mentor a class, and then the class, all those who pass, will volunteer to mentor on um, the following sessions. And what made it very successful is if you see this pyramid, um, you can see that the average learning retention rate of you is on the top. You can see 5% lecture. So if you are watching lecture, you only retain about 5% of what you're learning. And on the bottom part, you retain so much of what you learn by teaching others. So it became very effective because you are learning at the same time. When you start teaching it to others, you retain most of the knowledge that you learned. And that's what makes it successful on top of having that pay it forward um, concept. So that's when also during the pandemic where we started to have this AWS UG Build Hers Plus community, which is under the AWS user group of the Philippines. And it's mostly focused on women and LGBTQ. Like Hiromi mentioned that the community is meant for DEI. So we also had a DEI specific group to allow more people to be more comfortable joining the review session. So that's when we also introduced the coffee sessions, where it's similar to the review sessions that we had before, but it's more of like we're just having coffee with your friends and learning AWS at the same time. So what we did moving forward. And from there, I started to branch out on different things related to community. And I always say yes, given the opportunities. I started teaching, growing. I also started blogging, attending conferences. And from there, it grew further. So I started to get vouchers for free for AWS certifications, and then also did talks, did the coffee sessions. And for my own company, I also help build a community within the company, and it branched out to different learning opportunities within our group. And from there, I also joined the AWS Community Builders program. And in the picture here, you'll see me attending the AWS reInvent just last year. So this opportunity is given to those um, on the early part of their careers, and who are like, if you are part of a DEI group and you're given an opportunity to attend reInvent. So AWS gives a lot of opportunities for people starting out, and you get to see what amazing things AWS is doing for the community as well. And I also met people from the global community, from women in tech. So you can see them here in the picture, also attending AWS reInvent for free, sponsored by AWS. So what is community building and learning? So what one thing that you have to remember is community building is hard work. So it's not just something easy to do. So I really applaud Hiromi and Yuki for doing these community events, because it gives a lot of opportunities definitely for a lot of people. And it's also 100% developer advocacy. On top of you gaining something, you also contribute a lot of your time and hard work to people and help them. So it's more of giving back to the community. And on top of that, you also build soft skills and your personal brand. So it's one thing good about being involved in the community as well. And of course, like I said, it's 100% community service. So to keep you going, you have to always think of your why, because definitely you will quit if it's hard work. So you'll definitely quit if you don't give it much effort, uh, or you don't put much thought in on why you're doing it. So is it to inspire others, to help others? Like for me, what keeps me going is every time I host a community event or help organize an event and ask people to help me organize it, they always tell me how much they're learning from that event, and how much they are also meeting other people within the community and gaining so much. Aside from technical, they also gain the soft skills. So like myself, I'm always an introvert, but being involved in the community, it allowed me to have a voice where I'm accepted. And even as a beginner before, I was given the opportunity to speak. So this is a really good thing that AWS is doing for the world. So the challenge for everyone is basically just keep showing up and don't just follow. Think of leading also, and remember to pay it forward. So that will keep the community alive and thriving, and also dream big. And that's it. I'm happy to conclude. That's all that I'll be sharing about my community journey with AWS. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nina, just and you also kindly agreed to speak on short notice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
No worries.
And thank you. So, I know. Oh, sorry. I know amazing AWS friends from the Philippines. You have such a wonderful culture of growing and supporting each other. And I've also been helped by so many people from your community. The systems you've built in the Philippines are very impressive. I would love to learn from them and maybe even bring some ideas back with me. And I'm actually planning to attend it, the Philippines leaders meet up next month, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone there. And I can tell you've worked very hard too. Thank you for sharing such valuable insights with us. So now, does any have comments or what question for Nina?
No, no
You have a comment?
question.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Okay. So if not, let's move on. Next, Gurish, already? Oh,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
okay. We will plan it about 20 minutes for your talk. I ready?
Yeah, for sure. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
And amazing experiences everybody shared. Thanks for doing that. And mine is like little what you call changing the gear, and we are going into a little bit technical topic,
Okay.
right? So yeah, so let me get started. Yeah. Is it visible?
Not speaker mode.
Oh, let me change that, right? I don't want to speaker mode. Just give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is going to another monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just yeah. Is it better now?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Yeah. So, have you any like a phase wall or a bottleneck in Amazon RDS? Maybe you will think like you need more control on your environment, and or like even you can think about like, okay, can I do something different, which is like managed service is not offering me, but I don't want to at the same time go with full self-managed environment, right? We were in the same boat, and everything started well for the migration of 40 terabyte database from on-premises to cloud for Oracle Engine. Everything was smooth until let's talk more on that. So I'm Girish Mukim. I'm AWS Community Builder, AWS Ambassador, APN Ambassador, and Solutions Architect. So yeah, so like, it's really nice to be here. This is my first time on this forum. I'm very excited to talk about this particular technology with all of you. and this is my first-hand experience with dealing with RDS as well as RDS custom. And you will get to know what RDS is, what is RDS custom, what are the key differences, and when to use what. This is a more important consideration, when to use what. And I faced the issue when I went with RDS and now realize like RDS custom was a better solution for my client. So that I will talk about in migration use case when I talk about how we decided to pivot to custom instead of RDS, right? And then I'll just touch base on RDS custom implementation, and then I'll take a few questions if anyone has any, right? I'll not have demo because time is not sufficient for it. And then usually RDS custom or any database service, right? It takes time to create. So I don't have any demo, but I'll just walk you through the steps, what you should take to create the RDS custom instance. At the same time, what are the some considerations, what better if sort of thing, what I could have done better to avoid this pitfall which I faced with RDS. So first of all, let's start in the from the beginning. Amazon RDS is an amazing service. No, nothing wrong with that. It's a fully managed service. It offloads a lot of work for database administrators to AWS. It supports multiple engines. You can see in the screen. It supports Amazon Aurora, MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, SQL Server, Oracle, and new entrant IBM DB2. So it is like cool service and helping a lot of teams over the around the globe for maintaining and provisioning their RDS or database instance like in a click of a button sort of thing, right? So this is amazing service. So it's easy to administer, which I just mentioned. It offloads a lot of work back to AWS, and customer gets just endpoint, and you can maneuver that endpoint. Just get the endpoint and start putting your data. So that's as simple as it is, right? It's secure, secure day zero job. Like you can see data encryption at rest or transit. It complies with many industry leading assurance programs. So all is covered in when it comes to RDS. And you have automated availability and durability, multi-AZ setup. When one AZ goes down, is automatically failovers to another AZ without any work whatsoever from the customer. So that endpoint which your application is using doesn't need to change. It automatically will be going into secondary AZ. So that is the beauty of RDS. And you have complete control on your scalability. You can decide how much storage you want to scale to. You can change your instance size. You start with, for example, you start with certain instance size, which needs 4 CPU and a 16 GB memory, for example. If you want to change that, RDS gives you that option to change it. So it's like a very easy from console or using API, CDK, whatever you use for managing your infrastructure. But when it comes to customization, like you think, right, like RDS is a great service, completely managed, then why you will think about going to any other service, right? When it comes to relational database service management. And there comes like RDS custom. RDS customs provide you more customization. There are scenarios that everything out of the box is not something is helping you. You have few situations, and I'll talk about that in my later slide. Few situations where you want more control on your environment, right? So that is when RDS custom was introduced by AWS, and many customers are opting for that because you used to use it in on-premises, which is like on VM, which has full control to DBS, but you are losing that control when you are going to Amazon RDS. So what is the middle path? So RDS custom is a middle path where you still get some managed experience, managed service experience. At the same time, you get some control back to yourself to manage your environment. The only thing is, as of today, only two engines are available for RDS custom is SQL Server and Oracle. And for my client, which I referred earlier, we used Oracle engine. So it's like what comes with RDS custom, which is not there in RDS as a standard service. One is you are getting access to your underlying operating system. When RDS is created, even in fully managed RDS, internally AWS put this on some EC2 server, some VM, it is creating that database, right? It's already been happening, but that is abstracted from customer. You just have access to your endpoint. You don't have access to your underlying EC2 in case of RDS. But RDS custom gives you that access, and that access like help you to tweak your like operating system for vendor specific use case, or you want like a backup to be taken like along with the automated backup what RDS provides, you want to take your own backup schedule, use your own scripts. That is possible because you now have access to the server. Then you can customize your database patches. And this is what we faced a huge need for doing that, but you can customize your database patches. Then you can, as I said, you can modify operating system packages if you require, and you get access to your server through SSH, or you can connect using Session Manager. System Manager, well, Session Manager is one component out of a System Manager pack of services or features it provides. So that enabled by default. When you create RDS custom instance, your connectivity through Session Manager for SSH is already enabled. So that is out of the box capability. So bit on like the different database deployment options. I'm not going to advanced deployment or Exadata or something. If you guys are aware about that, that is the newest partnership between Oracle and AWS where they are offering that Exadata as a newer offering. But I'm not talking about that. Basic deployment, if you put on EC2, just to set the context, like how these services are different, right? When you see like create your own database on EC2, complete management is on customer, right? You need to manage it. Only hardware is managed by AWS. As we know, EC2 is like like infrastructure as a service. When it comes to Amazon RDS, many of these things, like if you see hardware, OS patching, DB patching, backups, high availability, scaling, everything is offloaded to AWS now. Only application deployment you need to do, creating your own schema and putting your data. That's all that customer needs to manage. But when it comes to RDS custom, it's a middle path, right? Few things are still done by automation by AWS, but it is trade-off between automation and control. You can see it here, right? Till automation is there, but few things you can tweak or customize yourself. So that is like what RDS custom provides to you. And here you can see, if you see like a shared responsibility, something is now shared responsibility between you and AWS. So that is a difference here. I just want to paint this picture like so that you understand like how this service is different. So like we talked about few of these, but key differences I want to point out, right? Amazon RDS, it's fully managed service. You will get fully managed service experience, what you get for any other managed service from AWS. So that is what Amazon RDS. You can customize it to some extent. For example, if you're using certain Oracle parameter or database parameters on-premises, you can still do that through parameter group. You can create some options or install some options like Application Express, for example. You can still do it through option group. That customization is still available. And it's ideal for standard workload. If it is like customized, then you are not going with Amazon RDS in that case. Amazon RDS custom, highly customizable. You are getting sysdb access. And this is like a dream for DBAs, like who are working on-premise for years together. They know how it is important to connect as sysdb from the server. So that is available in RDS custom. And this is like big advantage for DBAs. So they can connect to server and directly connect from server to as a sysdb, which is a super user. That we don't have it in RDS flavor. And it's suitable for legacy application requiring specific configuration. So like when to use what? So this is a really important slide. I want you to pay attention to this. Why you should use RDS custom. So you have legacy custom packaged application, and vendor specifications are provided that you need to do this certain way, right? Like for example, OS configuration. If you want restrictions on that from vendor, it's your vendor application, then RDS custom is a beautiful service for to opt for. Don't go with RDS in that case. And you require access to OS and database environment, complete control, what patches need to be applied, when it needs to be applied, when you want to take your custom backup, everything is like available in RDS custom. So that's when you will use it. And I'll talk about one slide where I want you to understand complete requirement from your database administrators or your customer before you choose either of this, because there is no like a dreamy world, right? Everything has its own pitfalls. Even RDS custom has some downsides, right? When it comes to like it's not fully managed. So you need more efforts from your DBS. So DBS man hours will increase in that case, right? Support man hours. So that is one thing like from overall broadly if we speak about. Then there are few, as the newer service, some capabilities are not yet available. For example, you cannot share your backup snapshot. You are taking a backup in one region. You cannot share that backup to another account or another region. That is available in RDS, not in RDS custom. In our case, we were okay. That is a trade-off. But we understood what is available, what is not available, and we decided, okay, whatever RDS custom is giving us, it is far more important for us than worrying about what is not available in RDS custom as of today. Right? So that is what the learning is. And this is where still things started going south for us when it comes to RDS. We are migrating like this, as I mentioned earlier, it was 40 terabyte database. We are migrating from on-premises to cloud. We are using database utility, which Oracle provides out of the box, which is data pump import. We are using that. It started importing and suddenly it started failing with so many internal errors, which is specific to Oracle. Right? It was just piling up with the errors in the log. That's when we started investigating. We thought like it will be easy fix, we'll do something and then that will be resolved. But it happened to be we need to reach out to Oracle directly, create a service request with them. They say this is a Oracle bug. And they were like giving us a one-off patch. Take this patch, apply that to your Oracle binaries, and you should be good. This bug will be fixed. Then we started doing that. Okay, let's see how we can do it in RDS. And that's when we got to know that one-off patch is not at all possible in RDS. We cannot apply one-off patch. Only like quarterly patches which Oracle releases, AWS catch up with that and apply those patches. And there is no plan from Oracle to include this one-off patch in their next release update. So we are completely stuck. We cannot move with this migration approach. So that's when we started going into details of, okay, we need to do more we need to go back to drawing board and then see like what is missing, like what else could be a surprise in the future, right? So we identify a few things. For example, we need to create a guaranteed restore point. I'll not go into details what are these, but I just want to drive a point, right? There are some considerations which we would have done better. And when you get into the situation, it is better to do that due diligence before you decide on the service, right? Like broadly, we thought like RDS is a great service and many of our customers are using it. So why not in this case? But we identified, okay, this is one of patch is not possible. Maybe it's okay, right? Many customers are using RDS, like it's not such a big issue. But for this particular customer, this was a big issue. So we need to pivot depending on like what situation we are into. So that is what we decided to move. And yeah, and so far, like RDS Custom proving to be a great service for us. We are able to migrate few of their environment. We are yet to do production cutover. It will be happening in few months from now. But at least till now, we are very good in progressing our migration efforts on this. So very quickly, I'll go into this. Like there is a lot of good documentation and shameless plug. I have created a YouTube video which is completely going through right from starting from creating software provisioning up to creating of your RDS instance. I have put it in. I can just share that if anybody is interested, but I'll not go into actual hands-on because time is not that much. So first you need to set up your environment, create CEV, which is custom engine version. And I'll talk a bit about that custom engine version. Let us just remember this. And then you connect to your server and customize your database. This is as simple as it looks like. But when it comes to granular steps, there are much more than that. In set up your environment itself, you need to do multiple things. You need to first create a KMS key. And that is a difference again. Like KMS key, you can opt for managed KMS key in case of RDS. When it comes to RDS custom, you need to create your own symmetric encryption key. That is customer managed. So you need to manage that key. So first create it. Then there are CloudFormation template provided by AWS in documentation, where you can create IAM roles, what is your EC2 server is going to use. So that you can just use, I prefer you can, AWS given a manual option to create your role and use CloudFormation. We did CloudFormation and it's pretty simple. I suggest if you go into the same route, right? Let's create it in CloudFormation. They did a great job on putting that templates there. So we can just run the CloudFormation template, create a stack, and you will have your IAM resources created. Same happens with configuring your VPC. Still, CloudFormation template is available. Manual options is also there. but we use CloudFormation. So it is not creating a VPC as such, but whatever resources you need to create under VPC, that CloudFormation takes care. For example, creating a VPC point, a VPC endpoint. Your RDS custom or your database usually sitting in private subnet. You don't want to expose it in public subnet. So there will be private, but how to have that private connectivity back to other services? For example, EC2, S3 bucket, SSM, session manager. So all these endpoints will be created in your subnet. So that is automated through CloudFormation template. Then once that is done, you download first all your software from Oracle side or SQL Server side, wherever you download your database softwares, download it from there. Whatever patch you want to apply, download that patch, put it in S3 bucket, and using that S3 bucket as a source, you will create a CEV, custom engine version. When you create a CEV, you will get an option, okay, where is your software sitting? You just give that S3 bucket URI, and it is able to create CEV. So now you see, right, like I can add whatever back patches I want to add to it. So CEV is completely our control. When you want to apply new RU patch, Oracle comes with new RU patch. You can control when you want to apply. You can take the downtime, work with your application team. So all becomes very easy so that you have full control on that. So CEV creation, it's up to us. You want to create the CEV first and then go and create database. Creating database experience is exactly same as what is there in RDS. Only difference is you need to give CEV there, which is not needed in RDS. RDS, you just choose the version and it will create database for you. Here you will give CEV. And then you access your database server and create or customize whatever way you want to do for your application to consume that database or use that database. Yeah, this is almost last line, just 2 minutes. So before you decide, right, we talked about bit about like comparison, differences, what we did wrong. So I want to give some guidance when you get into the similar situation, how you should go about deciding which service should to choose for. Right. So first, conduct a comprehensive comparison between two services. What all two services differs in what aspects? I covered few aspects broadly, which is very important aspect for this differences, but there are granular differences as well. So you do that, right? Like it could be compute, storage, scaling options, high availability options, even like what is the available database migration path, like service availability in region. This is custom is not available in CA West, Canada West, right? So you need to pivot, like you need to put a EC2 there, create your server like only like till it is available. We know like it might be available sometime in this year, but that is not there in CA West. So these are the granularities you need to go into when you are deciding on this services, so that you don't face the surprises what we faced in our migration journey. So collaborate with your DBS, right? The granular requirement of DBS, for example, they want to connect as DBA. This is very much a DBA specific, right? Like solution architect tend to miss those conversations, right? But when you get your DBAs into the conversation, that becomes very easy, so that they come with their own perspective, their own requirement. So spend that time upfront your database administrators, right? Understand, list out their operational tasks and see that where the services can help them with. You need to change the way you do it. It's not exactly one-to-one mapping, be it RDS or RDS custom. Some things in on-premises we used to do differently, but now in cloud, it is going to differ. So that DBS has to understand, right? So that discussions you need to have upfront. And the most important, stay informed about whatever release are coming from AWS for new features for this platform. This RDS custom specifically is evolving. Many customers are opting for it. So AWS has all the incentive to keep adding more features to it. So I'm seeing like every quarter you are getting some new features. So pay attention to that, like so that you are up to speed on what is happening in that world. Yeah, so with this, like formally what I want to discuss, I just discussed it, but anything you have it in your mind, right? Feel free to ask. And now or anything, anytime after, right? I'm available on LinkedIn. One click away, Slack me. If you are a AWS community builder, I'm on the Slack channel. You can reach out to me there or even LinkedIn. Yeah, so that's it, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris, for your great talk. Thank you so much. Uh, it sounds like there's a lot of demand for RDS custom. integration between Oracle and AWS is really a hot topic these days. I'm excited to see how it will continue to evolve. And personally, I haven't had much experience with migration projects like this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. When you
So you
actually do that, yeah, there are a few learnings for sure in each migration, right? It's simple, different scenario. So there are learnings.
Yeah. So your talk was really eye-opening for me, and now I understand much better when and why to choose RDS custom. Thank you. It's also reassuring to know there are paper documents and templates to follow best practice when using the RDS custom. If I ever join a project like this, I'd
Yeah,
definitely definitely refer back to what you shared today. Thank you
yeah,
so
for
much.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do you have any comments or feedback?
So no, nothing comment. Nothing.
Yeah, like what happens there, right? What happens, like there are multiple AWS services, and every migration will have its own like a requirement. And like when you are working on that, your interest rises in that area. That's what happened with me. Like RDS, I started working, so my interest rises in RDS. Somebody is working more on Lambda, so they will deep dive into Lambda. So that happens. So whenever you cross the path and you get into that, right, feel free to connect. And yeah, we can talk more. Like as I said, like we are just message away. So that is like importance of community. Yeah.
Thank you. Hiromi, mic is burned down now. My, your mic. Hiromi. Just a moment, please. Okay. Yeah, no bubbles.
Can hear? Can hear?
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, very surprising. So you not sounds.
Freddy. Okay. So next, Shayla, already?
Hello, everyone.
Ah,
Yes,
thank you so much.
let me put on my
Do you have a?
video.
Oh, okay. Oh,
There
hi.
is. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet
Thank you
you.
so much. Do you have your screen?
Yes, let me share it. Give me a moment, please. I'm sharing it now. Can you see it?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Great. Let me move this here. Yes, there we are. So yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to share a little bit in this space. So basically, I would like to talk a little bit about Amazon Inspector. To put my there is a little bit timer to not go longer with this, but it's very short. I have just a few slides, and then if the time permits, I would like to do a little bit of a demonstration of this service. So it's basically to know a little bit about Inspector and its capabilities. So yes, we will start. A little bit of what we will be seeing, as I say, some of the features, a demo, an introduction to Amazon Inspector, and finally some reference. So Amazon Inspector is this automated vulnerability scan service that we could use in AWS. So for example, if we are running all of our workloads in AWS, we can start using Inspector to scan for some vulnerabilities that we could find in some of the service. I will talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, it's a service that has been receiving some updates recently. I think most of the updates that were like big updates to the service were in reInvent of 2023, I think. And then they started to move it forward with the capabilities. So that's great. And yes, basically we could have Inspector enabled in AWS in the console, and we could start doing automatically discovery of the workloads to start the vulnerabilities. We can do that continuous scanning and maintain the vulnerability database. So basically, Inspector connects to standard vulnerability database that are well known. So if you are hearing that, hey, there is a new vulnerability to operational system, for example, in Windows, that is publicly known, you could have that information also in Inspector. They are connecting continuously to that vulnerability database. Yes, we can also do like scans in demand. So for example, I can start a specific scan in a specific time of moment to see some of the vulnerabilities of any of the service involved. So yes, then we will have some findings that will tell us what is happening. We will have some more information about that and the risk score of the vulnerability. And we could connect also to other AWS service. You know, AWS always work with integration between some of the service. So for example, we can use AWS Security Hub, that is like a centralized place to security findings. So we can send findings from Inspector, Security Hub to have that centralized. So, I think there is something with my voice right now, but yes. And you can have it centralized in AWS Security Hub. And you could receive also in security for findings for other security service in general to have that centralized place of source. Also with Amazon Event Bridge, you can basically create event rules and create a rule to deliver the information about these findings to other platforms. For example, if you are working with Microsoft Teams and you want to have, I don't know, notification in Microsoft Teams when you receive an Inspector vulnerability, you can create that with Inspector if you want to use Slack or if you want to use, I don't know, deliver that to only an email or SMS, you can have this kind of capabilities using Amazon Event Plus, so you can always be alerted when new vulnerabilities arise from Amazon Inspector. Amazon ECR, because it's a new capability that not that new, has some time long in the place, but basically you can use Inspector to look for vulnerabilities in your container image. For example, if you are running some Docker image and you have them in ECR, you can also use Inspector to scan it for vulnerabilities. And yes, also the partners. So you can take action when those findings arrive and integrate it with some partners of the network of AWS. So moving forward here, some of the use cases is basically the continuous vulnerability detection, as I mentioned in ECR, also in EC2 instance, Lambda functions, for example, you can also do scans on those Lambdas. You can have information about compliance. So if you need to comply with some standards like CIS or other security standards, international standards, you can rely on Amazon Inspector to scan your workloads and identify if you are complying or not with this kind of standards. And also moving security left, what we call shift left, because also you have some integrations available in some CI/CD pipelines, like for example in GitHub, so you can even scan for inspector vulnerabilities even without reaching to AWS directly. So we can start in your pipeline where you are making some commits or new code or new EC instance, ECR, sorry, Docker image in the pipeline. So when you send that, for example, to GitHub, we can start integrating the inspector plugin and see some vulnerabilities. And as I mentioned, the integration for alerts and remediations. Sorry, because I leave this in the only thing I leave in Spanish, but basically this is the how Amazon Inspector can integrate between all of the service platforms that I just mentioned. So you can have here Amazon Inspector connecting to the inspector database where they have all the information of the known vulnerabilities that are coming out continuously. So you will always have that source of updated information about vulnerabilities. And yes, you can integrate with AWS Lambda for standard and code scanning, in ECS with the SSM agent, and EBS snapshots. I think this is not in preview right now, so that should be already in place. I will need to validate that. That is out of preview right now. With Amazon ECR, Event Bridge, Security Hub, and for example, Jenkins or GitHub pipelines that we could also use. So let's move to the console. So here is the console of Amazon Inspector. As you see, you will have information about critical findings on ECR container, EC2 instance, Lambda function. So this is basically a summary of your exposure and your coverage, so you can see what is ready to or will need to fix and remediate about the vulnerabilities. So you have information about how to integrate this in CI/CD pipelines. And I can start going in the findings tab to, for example, information about the findings by vulnerabilities. So I will have the information here. As you can see, there is a lot of information. You can see the impacted resource, the type of the resource that is a vulnerability package, the age and the status. So here you can see also all the related information, where it was detected. So you have everything basically here to start understanding the vulnerabilities. This is in a Lambda library user. Yes, you have information here, this course, and a lot of critical information about the vulnerabilities. And also you can start filtering by instance, for example, and there is also the related information This is related to some of the instance that I have deployed. We can also go back and play the image that is in around at the moment, and also in the ECR repositories. Some of these tasks can have some lifespan, for example, that we can configure also if you want to have information like for 100 days or just for 7 days, and that thing we can also make the configuration here in the inspector tab. By Lambda function also, so yeah, there is how you can find all the findings, information about the components of the software packages, and also export that information to S3 dockers, and there is, for example, the on-demand stance that you can start at any moment and say, hey, I would like to understand, I don't know, if I am complying with this CIS benchmark standard or something else, and how I would like to run those tasks if one time, or I would like to do it, for example, every week. I can also do it as recurring tasks. And just let me share here, that notes. It's not loading now. Basically, I lost that information, but yes, there is a scan, a demo scan with the configuration. So here is where you will see the information related to the results about this scan and how you are complying with that. And as I said, there are the settings that you could also start using here. For example, for ECA, how would you like to start that vulnerability scan if every time you push the image to the ECR repository, and how long they will be there, for example. So that's part of the configurations that we can put here. And in ECR, for example, you will also see a little bit of tab related to scanning and vulnerabilities. And here is where you can find the results of that scanning also to ECR, and see the results here if you don't want to move to the inspector dashboard directly. Here I have another example. This is in code pipeline from AWS. So for example, if you have running a code pipeline and you have some source, you can also integrate the inspector scan of the source code. So this is what I got here. So it's part of the steps or stage in that pipeline. And as you can see, you will also have information about the logs, the vulnerabilities detected. Here is the vulnerability scan from inspectors. Starting, you will have the analysis of the vulnerabilities that were found, and you can take action on them. And also, trying to not take things so long, here I have another example of that in GitHub code that is looking good on the screen. So that is configured in that thing. But yes, basically, I have a workflow on GitHub Actions, and I have a step of build a scan on the per image in this case. So here also we could rely on Amazon Inspector to start the vulnerability scan. So for example, here is specifically when we started to scan with Amazon Inspector. As I say, they have a plugin available to use. And yes, you are saying here the type of a result that you will stand at. In this case, it's a container, and you have also how will you display the vulnerabilities results also here in this case in GitHub. But as I said, they have also that integration with other pipelines. And you can also upload scan results, for example, about the result that you have here. So yes, that's basically what I have to share about Inspector. I was trying to be really quick on this, and these are some of the reference that we could look at, some Inspector news, and also the inspector official documentation as they are always making some updates to the service. So yes, that's it. Available on LinkedIn. You can find the code or you can reach out directly so by email or any other social media. I have a link to relating out of my social media. So feel free to connect and I will be always happy to help you talk about everything of this, I don't know, AWS cloud related information and security related information. So feel free to connect. Yes, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ella, for sharing something so important. And don't worry, I'm also studying Spanish, so I
Okay,
understand you. Yes. So,
perfecto.
muchas gracias. By the way,
Okay.
this is actually the first time someone has talked about inspector in our global community series.
Great, great,
Thank
that's good.
you.
No
Yeah.
problem.
And I really like that you brought it up. Thank you also for the demo. It was very helpful. And to be honest, my termnet Yuki knows a
Uh-huh.
lot more about this field than I do.
Or
But I know,
Okay.
but I know
uh,
security is
uh,
something that everyone cares about. Uh, we should definitely make use of tools like this, and it's some important to know if we are using them properly.
mhm.
So Yuki, do you have any comments?
So, I think so. Nice architecture, and so this security uh uh functionality demo is so inspector is result critical vulnerability found. It is so in Japan is very so 対応ってなんて言うんだっかな。日本語になっちゃう。so
Was it
vulnerability found release is so schedule is in scan is GitHub Actions or Jenkins.
The available platforms. Are you
Um,
saying about that?
yeah.
That I
handles?
mentioned, yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh,
Yes. At the moment, but as I say, they are always doing some updates. So I think they are a little
mm-hmm,
bit more
mm-hmm,
available right now. So not only Jenkins and GitHub
uh-huh.
Actions. So I think
Oh,
they are including more. Yes.
okay, thank you.
No problem.
Very nice.
Thank you
Yeah,
all so much.
Thank you.
okay, thank you so much. Does anyone else have any comments or feedback for Sheila?
No comments, so YouTube and Twitter and Zoom comments, nuts.
No
Next.
comment?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you
Okay.
again so much.
Thank you
Thank
Thank
all.
you.
you. And next, Biaja, Bijaya mispronunciation.
Okay, Yanu.
B
Hi, hi, can you hear me?
oh yeah, no Ulala. Next.
Yeah, so let me just share my screen.
Okay.
So can you see my screen?
Okay. Perfect.
Yes. So my name is Yano. Um, okay. Okay, so my name is so my talk is about scaling LLM web scrapers by leveraging AWS Lambda, AWS Event Bridge, and AWS Bedrock, basically. So so my name is Ian Olua, and this is my GitHub account and my Substack. I have a Substack talking a lot about the rise of AI. So the first is, so before the rise of LLMs, so we had tools and practices when it comes to scraping the web, basically. So some of the tools we tend to use include Beautiful Soup. So it's to scrape the page, HTML page. Then you use tools like Scrapy or Playwright. So when you use Playwright, so for example, there are times you need, because of the type of website you are using, so it is is heavy on JavaScript. So there are times where maybe you want to page, the website is paginated, and then you need to go to the next page. So that's where you need a tool like Playwright. Then Scrapy, if the web page is more, you can also use, if the web page is uses JavaScript, you can also use something like Scrapy, but to use Scrapy is integrated with some JavaScript tools. I mean, from tools that make it easy for you to paginate and to scrape a paginated website, basically. Now, after you have tools like that, then there are like practices, like techniques while using those tools. So the first is you find HTML tags. So there's a web page. So those pages, they have tags. So based on those tags is where you find how to extract information from a web page, basically. So if you go to a web page, like let's say a job scraping, a job web page like Greenhouse. So Greenhouse has title, for example. So you go to the console page. When you get to the console page, you find the HTML tag they particularly use on that web page. So for title, for example, now they probably use something like H1, HTML tag. So you check it, and then you check maybe a class, what type of CSS class, and then you extract the information. So that's the how scraping works, basically. Now, but using it, there are problems with the way scraping works. So the first is manual selectors. So like I mentioned earlier, so you need to find the specific selector or the specific tag for that web page. So for example, now you need to find that this tag uses H1, or this tag uses H2, or this tag uses A, the anchor tag, for example. So you need the manual selector, so you need to actively check. Now, there are times it is fragile. So the second point is fragile. Fragile in the sense that the web page might change. So because it has changed, your scraping pipeline will break. And because it breaks, you need to go back to check again. And then it goes back to the manual selector again. So it's fragile. So that's the idea. So because designs, so let's say a web page like Airbnb. So a web page like Airbnb, they also try to Airbnb their web pages to improve. So they change the design, they change the structure of the web page. So whenever they change the structure, then your LLM and your scraping pipeline breaks again, and then you need to go back to do the manual selectors again. Then the third part is now content cleaning. So content cleaning in the sense that there is, so for example, a web page like a greenhouse web page where in it they mention something like hybrid, then they also mention remote. Now there are times it is fixed, so they will say they want a remote, or they want hybrid, or they want on-site. Now, there are times they don't mention the infer. So you won't be able to know that this particular text is hybrid or remote because it's inferred. So it's maybe a particular phrase that explains that, okay, it is remote. But because it is, but with that, so normally the way you do it is, it is not structured. So you just have specific options. Okay, if it's remote, if it is not, yes or no, something like that. So you are not sure that this text is remote or it is not remote, for example, now. So those are the major problems with scraping before the rise of LLM. Now, with LLM, so one thing you do, you still use the same tools. So you use tools like Beautiful Soup, you still use tools like Playwright. Now, the difference is in how you use it. So is why I mentioned the practices, like how you use them has changed. So it has changed in the sense that you just go to the web page and then you dump the HTML content into the LLM. So that's the end. So you dump the HTML content into the LLM, and the LLM returns with a JSON structured data. That's the end. So even if the web page changes, even if the structure changes, the LLM can infer. The LLM understands because of natural language understanding. So it understands and it knows what you are trying to do, basically, and then it knows what to extract, basically. So even if the content changes, it knows when to say none, for example, now. So it knows, basically. So that's the advantage of scraping with LLM. So it's faster now. It is less fragile. So you can do it and don't forget about it. That's what LLM does. So that's the first part of how LLM scales your web scraping process, basically. Then the third dimension is the LLM returns a JSON structured data. So I'll show you how the code looks like, basically, to give you an example and the context on how it works, basically. So like I mentioned, so these are the advantages where you dump the content into the LLM. So when you dump, that's the end. So it's relatively easier. So it's faster. So the process is faster because there's no need for manual selectors again or checking and checking and checking. And before you know that's 2 hours. Now you just dump the content into the LLM. Then the next is LLM based pipeline. So it is generic. It is generic in the sense that all you just need to do is dump it, and the LLM infers what you actually want to be given. And then the third is natural language understanding. It understands so you understand the context of that particular text. So is why I said, so imagine a situation where the job page says something like on site. So you understand that it's on site. And then another time it might say something like we don't want remote employees. So even though the user didn't mention, even though the job page doesn't mention on site, but because it says something like we don't want remote workers, it has implied that it is on site, and you know that it is on site, basically. So and then the LLM gives on site, even though you didn't specifically mention that it is on site. So that's the advantage of scraping with LLM. So now there are 3 tools in building a web scraping and to scale the web scraping tool, basically. So the first is using AWS Bedrock, then the second is Lambda, then the third is Event Bridge. So the first is Bedrock. So what Bedrock does is it is a fully managed service, basically from AWS. Now, what it does now, there are also foundational LLMs from other companies. So Meta has a large language model, Llama. Google has Gemini. OpenAI has GPT. Now, but the advantage of Bedrock is that it is integrated with different foundational models. So if you integrate with a tool like OpenAI, you only have access to OpenAI's model. If you use Gemini, you only have access to Gemini. But with Google and with AWS, you have options. So that's the advantage. So there are options. So you can use Claude, you can use Llama, which is because it's open source. You can use Cohere, you can use DeepSeek, even DeepSeek. So the one from China, you can use it because it's open source, basically. Now, the next part is it is integrated with LangChain. So the advantage of LangChain is that it's a framework. So all you just need to do is plug and play, basically. So even if you use something like AWS Bedrock, it abstracts all the different foundational models. So you just is a string. You just exchange if you want to use Claude and you want to swap with Llama, you just is a string basically, and that's the end. So less than 30 seconds basically. So because it's integrated with LangChain already. So that's one advantage of Bedrock. So now this is an example of how the code base works basically. So let's say you use a tool like Playwright. So Playwright is for the scraping. Now, in the scraping, you can see there is the web scraper class, and then in the web scraper class, there's a function. So the function is the script function. Now, what it does is it goes to this particular URL. So the page.goto URL, and then it comes to this page.content, and that's the end. So the entire web page, it just extracts it at once. So you don't need manual selectors. Now, because you've extracted the entire web page, now you now try to dump to the LLM. So this is the code base so this page is where you define the JSON that will be extracted, the information will be extracted from. So this is the JSON. So in this situation now, let's say it's a job page like greenhouse, you just do job description. This is a JSON structure, job title, company name, company website, location type, location, apply, commitment, something like that. So it's structured. So this is the structured page. Then now, this is where you now use LangChain. So this is where you create the prompt. So you create the prompt. So this is an example. So the first page where is the home page document. This is it. Then this is where you provide the prompt. Can you see so there's the extract the list of job URL. So that's a prompt basically. So you dumped the content into the LLM, and then you just provide a prompt, extract the list of job URLs. In this use case now, it will be extract the following fields. So what are those fields? Job description, job title, company name, company website, location type, the list of location, etc. So, and that's the end. Then the next is you now create a Lambda function. So you create a Lambda function with Lambda, and you deploy to AWS basically. So you can use something like Docker. So you Dockerize the function and then you deploy to AWS. And now this is the function already. Now, the use case for Event Bridge is it triggers the Lambda function. And based on your use case, so because it's scraping, you don't need it to be running every time. So you can schedule the function. So let's say you want to scrape once daily, for example. Now you schedule the function, so it's cheaper long term. So because it's just a request basically, so it's just a single request, and then Event Bridge Scheduler, which is an instance, which is a service, schedules the function. When it schedules the function, the scraping process will starts and then it ends in less than 15 minutes, basically, depending on the number of content, basically, because it shouldn't be more than 15 minutes for Lambda function, basically. And when it does that, it gives you the response, which is a JSON structured data, basically. And then you continue the next day, for example. So it's cheaper to do and it's scalable, basically. So all you need is AWS Bedrock, Event Bridge, and Lambda. And that's the end, basically. So yeah, so that's it. I don't know, questions.
Thank you. No, Nashori, that's all.
Yeah, that's all I mentioned. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Thank you much. uh, you're doing really advanced work, very impressive. I thought your project fits perfectly with a job platform. Also, I personally love serverless architecture. Recently, I've also been exploring how to use AI for coding support, and I feel that AI technology is becoming more and more important in development. Uh, so, that's have question for Yansuri or comments.
So no comments. So, yeah, not comments.
Yeah, just like one comment is very good job. Like it's like something new which I've
Yes,
learned. So that's nice.
yeah, very good job. Yes, thank you. So, okay, thank you so much again.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the
Thank you very
opportunity.
much. And since one plan of speakers couldn't make it today, I'd like to wrap up the event here. So, do you have some comments or feedback or something?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Okay. So, okay,
So,
great, great.
QA and closing started.
Okay, closing.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, till or sorry,
No, 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 don't worry.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, to wrap up. Okay, to all our speakers, thank you so much for your amazing talks. Really, I can't thank you enough. You shared so many helpful and inspiring ideas. Each talk was different, but all of them gave us something to think about, something we can use in our own challenges. Thank you for this great time together. And before we wrap up, please feel free to share your social media in the chat, and so we can all stay in touch. We are not sure if what we are doing is the right way, but we'll keep going because we want to more people to hear your voices. I really hope we can meet again soon. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye.
See you next month.
See you
Thank
next
you.
month.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
See you
you.
you.
next
Thank
month.
you.
Bye.
So, wow.
ストップします。